Hello everyone. This video is the full conversation that I had with Victor and Steph Basa of Happy Plant Co. for the 80% podcast. Special shout out goes to Dell Technologies Philippines for making this possible. And do check out the other conversations that I had for this series by subscribing to the 80% podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Enjoy watching! Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the 80% podcast. Of course, for this episode, we have two special guests, which is Victor and his wife, Steph Basa. Hello, Victor.
Hi, how are you, Fitz? It's great to be
Hi.
here. It's an exciting time, especially for Happy Plant. It's such an honor. It's such a thrill to be working with such a great company, and of course, to be sharing our knowledge, our learnings also to our listeners. So
Yes.
nice to see you. I'm Victor, and this is Steph, and we run Happy Plant Co together.
Yeah. Hello, Steph. Kamusta? I am pleasantly surprised that you'll be joining us today.
Yes, because we do this actually together as a husband and wife duo, just startup company, which started 4 years ago, but it's doing so well now. It's taking a lot of our time together, but it's great to be doing it as husband and wife as well.
Yeah.
All right. So, for the benefit of our listeners, I would like to ask you to please introduce yourself, each one of you, and what do you currently do?
Okay. Para tong VTR. Okay. I
Yes.
am Victor Basa. I'm 28. Ay, hindi na pala ako 28. I am 35. I'm an actor, I'm a blogger, I'm a host, and I'm also a gardener. I'm a farmer. I'm farming the plants. No, but so to speak, Happy Plant has been growing in terms of priority, and I would say it's bringing in the bank also. Yeah, so yeah, I'm happy to share what knowledge, and hopefully I can I can explain it to you guys and inspire others to do the same.
So I'm Stephanie Dan Basa, newly wed to Victor Basa, and we run Happy Plant Co. together. We started it 4 years ago. I actually have a day job. So I am an HR manager in a company, a manufacturing company, and we do this actually on the side lang. It's not our bread and butter. No, it's really a passion project for us that turned into a business, and we just wanted to share our love for plants and our knowledge of the house plants with other people, and as well as how to care for it. It's really one of the most important things in purchasing the plant. It's really knowing how to care for it. So, yeah.
All right.
Nice
Thank
to
you
meet you.
for those. Akala ko sasabihin ni Victor, I am also a plantito. I was waiting for you to say that.
I
Kasi yun ang uso
actually
ngayon.
that's Oh, it's new. It's a new term. I heard
Oh,
it like a month ago. Nagulat ako. Sabi ko, oh, there's a new term. Sabi ko, but I think we already predated that. We started what?
Two, 4 years
Oh,
ago.
2017.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
also new terms like planterior designer, botanical designer. So,
mm.
I've heard trito. Trees.
Yeah, so we'll talk more about that later, yung story nung business nyo. But for now, I'm curious. Why did you name your business Happy Plant Co? Because I've always discovered na there are always interesting stories on how people name their businesses. So how did you come up with the name Happy Plant Co?
Okay, Happy Plant Go. We were looking for how we came up with the name. We were looking for something that would share or be able to communicate the message that what 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 exactly that we're trying to do. So actually, it wasn't me who came up with it. We came up with it together, but I would say I know Steph. was the one who was really able to come up with the idea of Happy Plant Co. because um, the simple thought of if you have indoor plants, plants make you happy because they have a therapeutic effect, they have a calming effect, they have a relaxing um, aspect. Diba? Like they say, if you use your computer for so long, you just have to look at something green for how many seconds, and you can get back to your important work. So,
So it's actually just pen and paper.
mm,
And I came up with the names, probably 20 different names on a piece of paper, and I went through it with Victor, and I would cross out the ones that he disagreed with. And then, of course, you have to check with DTI
mm,
what names are already existing and registered. So the Happy Plant Co. wasn't registered yet, and
mhm.
it had a really good ring to it, easy to remember. It did embody the message, the overall message that we wanted to convey with our soon to be customers back then. And that's how it just happened.
And yung co is CO, hindi co. Happy Plant Co. Although pwede din yun. Yung Happy Plant Co is more of yung CO, I think it added more of like a heritage feel to it. It made it sound as if it's been around for a very long time. And we hope it will be.
Yeah, but I agree that Happy Plant Co, or the name that you chose, is actually very good because it's easy to remember. Plus, it's always nice to have yung message that you want to impart to your customers inside the name of the business. So, very inspired yung name na Happy Plant Co, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, for now, I'd like to know what are the products and services that you offer. I know that you're not just selling plants, no? You also
Yes.
offer different services. Yes.
Okay. Well, apart from selling plants, we also help our customers with their plant problems. If they overwater, if they do the wrong care, they can always talk to us, and we will help them with the ailment of their plant. We're not a plant hospital, but I would say
Actually,
we
we
did
did.
we did for a while, pero
There are
ang
some
dami.
exceptions that
Yeah.
I have made to actually nurture back some of their plants.
Mm,
And successfully, after a few months, I would return it to the customer. And happy plant, happy person,
yeah.
so happy people also kami.
Yeah.
It's more than just a product. It's not a product, no, it's a service. We
Yeah.
really give them that service of recommending to them what are the specific plants that would thrive in their home,
And
depending on the light conditions,
like
their plant
condition,
experience.
depending on the specific needs of their home. Also, if they have kids, if they have mga pets, then we will recommend other plants that the pets won't be harmed, or kids, diba? Kasi yung mga kids, yung mga kabataan, they all of a sudden they'll just start nibbling on a leaf, and you don't want them to be poisoned. But the nice thing about Happy Plant, we really pride ourselves that we're all natural. We don't use any harmful chemicals to fertilize. So I think that in and of itself, it really speaks to that we're happy. We're a good plant company who you can trust.
We're what you would call a responsible garden
Yeah.
company because we care for the people who help us care for our plants in the
Yeah.
garden, and we also care for the environment
Yeah.
because if you start using these chemical fertilizers and the pesticides
Mm-mm.
and fungicidal soaps, they really harm us. They
Yeah.
really harm the people who help us care for our plants, and they really harm the environment, including the birds that eat the insects that ingest these pesticides. So later on, maybe you won't hear the songbirds anymore if you are not a responsible gardener.
Yeah. The other services that we provide, I would say we were able to do a B2B already. We were able to supply to a coffee shop,
We,
a
um,
large chain of coffee shops
some
here.
global companies
Yeah.
for their retail stores.
Yes.
We do the whole recommendation for them. We'll
Yeah.
give them options, including homeowners. Maybe a newlywed couple, they want to make a home feel lived in, and they contact us. Can you help us? We're done with our furniture. We really want to add some plants, and I have no idea how to care for it and what kind to get. So we do all of that for them, including where to place them, how to care for it, maintenance, including maintenance. Yes, we do
Yeah.
repotting also for them.
Yeah.
So it's products and services, and um,
And slowly it's growing. Like from indoor landscaping, now we have inquiries for outdoor landscaping naman. So I'm thinking, do we want to get into that? It's exciting. It's growth, but at the same time, we want to stay to the core of our business, which is um, you make the individual happy, and then you grow from there.
Yeah, that's awesome, no? I'm I'm interested to know, do you grow your own plants or do you have like a supplier? Kasi sabi ni Steph, no chemicals, no
Mhm,
pesticides. So
mhm.
I am assuming that you grow your own plants. You actually have a garden, or do you also have suppliers?
yes, so we do have our own garden. We have two locations, but it's not open to public.
Mhm.
It's just where we grow and propagate
Yeah,
and take care of our plants the natural way.
yeah.
Yes, we of course have suppliers too, because
Partners.
partners, because we can't provide for all the plant needs.
Yeah.
Let's say of a big company who wants to get 20 of this and 50 of that, and then all of a sudden we're out of it. We have to plan the business in that way, that we have to stock up, we have to propagate, wait for months, wait for a year and a half, and then release a certain amount only, not all at the same time. So
And we
there's
also have to make sure na the plant yun nga. We also place the plant in quarantine because we're not exactly sure if they were a given like a fertilizer, which if you keep that indoors you will be breathing that in. So
yes,
we have quarantine for the plants
that's
also.
why it's a year to a year and a half, that quarantine period. So we how would you say this? We detox any plants that were shipped to us in our garden.
Yeah.
So we detox the plants and then we release only after a year to a year and a half.
Yeah, and we're proud to say that our plants are almost all homegrown, and we're not we don't sell, we don't trade in any of the plants which are um, in the restricted list
And the
of
restricted list of DENR.
DNR,
So yeah.
because you want to make sure that when you go hiking, when you go to the province, or you go outdoors, you'll still see those plants in their natural habitat. So a small footprint, and we want to make sure that future generations will be able to enjoy those plants as well.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
make sure that none of them are illegal, threatened local wildlife, and are definitely not on that list that is not allowed.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting to learn right now na may mga ganong aspect pala siya, no, na
Yeah,
meron
yeah,
palang mga DNR restricted list. So parang mga animal on the endangered species list din. May mga
Yes,
parang ganon
yes.
na restrictions,
May
no?
mga plant poachers is what they call it. When you go to the forest, the under, um, let's say, if you go to the province area and that's not your land, and you go just pick up the plants that are growing there. And then you put up a small shop on the side of the road and you start to sell it. It is illegal to poach it, it is illegal to sell it, and it is illegal to buy it from the poachers. Yes.
Oh, I see. So that's
Mm.
interesting to know. And yeah, kasi of course in recent months, because of the pandemic, I guess, no, yung mga plant lovers have grown, no, and we have the new term nga na plantito and plantita. But when I was doing some research on Happy Plant Co, I discovered that you started, as you mentioned, 4 years ago. So matagal na kayo. And for me, that's a sign that it's really something that you're passionate about. So for now, I'd like to know, how did the business start? And I hope you can also tell us the story on how did you got into plants? How were you able to develop that passion for taking care of a plant, or having a plant? Was it something that you learned when you were still a kid? Were you Did you grow up in a home na maraming halaman? Kasi ako, I grew up in a home na maraming halaman. My mom also loves taking care of plants. So what was it for you, and how did you arrive at the decision to put up a plant business?
Okay, for me naman, because since you and I started it together, I never paid much attention to plants. Like, sure, it would be there in the house of my lola. It would be around us in the village. Kaya lang, you don't really care so much. I guess it's the age also. As you get older, and the moment I moved into a condo, and sabi ko, parang there's something missing. And then I went to an event. It was at the Grove at Rockwell. Then they gave me a succulent. They gave me a succulent plant. Sabi ko, uy, okay to, maganda to. Maganda to sa desk mo. It adds a little something. But then, namatay siya. So, sabi ko, why did it die? I was giving it a lot of water
A
naman.
lot, too much.
Pero succulent pala, you're not supposed to give water. It's used to the deserts. Sabi ko, I was with Yuna, di ba? Sabi ko, let's look for a plant which I can take care of, which hindi mamamatay. So we started researching, and then we started getting into it because si Steph also, she's really much into gardening. Although sa kanya, it was outdoor plants mostly. So we said, let's get into indoor plants, and then we started growing yung indoor yung indoor garden ko. And then eventually we're like, I think it was you who said, if we're interested in this, I'm sure there are other people who are interested in it also. So that's how it grew, and eventually we decided to turn it into a business. It started off with friends first, right?
Yes, it started with friends. Actually, so we, of course, we didn't grow up together. But my background naman is my dad, he loved to collect bromeliads. Bromeliads naman yung hilig ng dad ko. And I remember maybe I was 7 or 5. He would take me almost every day to help him water his plants and to check on them, to also check on my uncle who lives next door. He's a famous landscaper naman, known for his bonsai collection. So his concept naman is more zen. Mm-mm. So I enjoyed walking and playing luto-luto in the garden using the seeds from the pods from the fire tree. So that's my childhood. I helped my dad take care of the garden. We had a big he had My parents had a big garden, and it would of course be landscaped by his brother, my uncle, and I would help them in the process of landscaping, and I would ask about the plants, and also of course the maintenance. Ako na rin nagtutulong with my parents' gardener to take care of it. And so I did this even on weekends when I'm already in college. I spend my weekends in the garden. And then when I started working, same. When you start working, the stress level is different.
Yeah, it gets.
Really, parang when you get home and then on Saturday morning, you're like, you can't wait to get to that green space and get your hands dirty and see the progress of the plants that you were taking care of a few months ago, it's really invigorating and energizing. So I continue doing this from that age to now. And it's not something that I'm going to stop doing because I've seen how it's really benefited me, even my
Yeah.
family. When the plants were, I wasn't, I didn't have so much time anymore during when I started working, and so medyo na neglect yung mga plants in the garden, and my parents said, I can't afford to do landscaping again. Can you fix it? So I started fixing it. They were so happy. It reminded them of that time we were still young and everything's fresh and new again. And I like bringing that kind of happiness to other people too. So that's how Happy Plant started. We just really wanted to share. Um, Not everyone has a garden, eh.
Yeah.
Like Victor, he was living in a condo,
Yeah.
and then
But then eventually, sabi ko, apart from it being aesthetically pleasing and to be able to turn a house into a home, there's a reason why in hotel rooms you really have a plant there because it adds something living, it adds something that's not that's it's a constant thing that we really need. And if you get our air purifying plants, it adds to the benefits apart from removing the chemicals in the air, and of course adding a calm atmosphere to your workspace. Fitz, you should have a happy plant there in your
love
shelf
that.
there.
There, I know. I
We'll
actually have
send
a
you one. We'll
succulent.
send you one.
I actually have a succulent. I just remove it kasi you look smarter if you have books in the background when you're doing videos, di ba?
Ano
But
kami, mga ano, halaman lang.
We'll add the books shelf na rin here with the plants.
oo. Nakakatuwa marinig yung kwento nyo. Of course, Steph really had her roots, so to speak, nung kabataan niya. And Victor, I guess, it was a happy discovery a few years back. And I guess it's the same for a lot of Pinoys because of the pandemic na naging plantitos and plantitas na they discovered na uy okay pala mag-alaga ng plants, no? And when I first noticed this trend, ang una kong pumasok sa isip ko is these people are taking care or buying and taking care of a lot of plants. But, di ba kailangan meron kang green thumb to be able to take care of a plant well? What do you think about that? Is having a green thumb a thing? And is it necessary to be able to take care of a plant? Is it a skill that you can learn or is it something that you're born with?
Yes.
Um, okay. Do you have to have a green thumb to start a business,
Hobby?
to start your own hobby? You have to have an interest. I wouldn't say a green thumb because yung hobby ko, yung interest ko started off nga with the succulent, which was not successful, but eventually I got a silum, and then a sensation,
Station.
and
Yeah.
then a rubber tree, and then a fiddle leaf fig. The fiddle leaf fig was hard for me because I wasn't. It's not a beginner plant, but eventually I learned how to do it. And then the Monstera
Yes.
deliciosa. That's the one of the sought after plants now. But having a green thumb is not a requirement. It could help, but you learn along the way. It's easy learning, but make sure you start off with the more affordable plants first because you don't want to learn on an expensive plant. Kawawa naman
It
yung
might
yung plant
discourage,
tsaka yung wallet mo.
yeah, it discourages a lot of people who are starting out,
Yeah.
especially if they have no knowledge about basic houseplant care, and then they buy an expensive, rare philodendron, for example, or a constellation
Yes.
monstera, like the one we have at the back, if they start like that without any knowledge, they'll definitely say, I'm a black thumb. I don't want to do this anymore. That's going to be the last purchase. I'm going to start another hobby. I don't believe that um, there's a green thumb and a black thumb. No, it's actually not. Um, it's something that can be learned. Definitely can be learned, and that's where we actually come in. Is we help them. We give them even links and materials to read if they need to know about a certain variety of plants that they want to invest in without buying it yet. They'll ask me, can you tell me more about this? How do I care for it? I'm deciding between this type, and then I'll help narrow down the choices for them. So it's a skill that can be learned through experience. Although we call ourselves the indoor plant experts, I can't tell you 100% we'll never get something that's overwatered from time to time. We have hundreds and thousands of plants. And there are times when I'll see a yellow leaf, but I won't panic because I know it's not gonna spell death to the plant. It's just overwatered. Okay, I'm just gonna unpot it, dry it out a bit, and then repot it. No problem. So you have to know the basic plant care knowledge to be able to take care of that plant, and that's it. I don't believe in black thumbs now.
All right. And I'd also like to ask kasi I've seen some friends na grabe sobrang dami ng halaman dun sa naka-condo unit din siya.
Yes.
So, is there such a thing as having too many plants already or the more the
Mm.
better? Okay lang. What do you think?
At one point, we were selling. Um, we had a stall sa condo area. Um, there was a bazaar at the condo every Saturday. And sabi ko, let's just keep the plants in my condo so you don't have to keep transporting it. Kasi syempre, it's cheaper, di ba? So at one point, I had, I had three trolleys of plants. And I think that's the only time it became sobra. But at one point also, I removed my TV to make way for a monstera. It was like a 16-leaf monstera deliciosa. So, um, can you have too many plants? Maybe if it affects the normal routine kung hindi ka na makakain dahil may halaman dito, hindi ka na
Tsaka
makaluto
ano, no?
dahil
You can't take care of all of them anymore because you have too
yeah.
many, no? Yeah.
If you
So
spend too much time nag-water ka the whole time. So I think ano lang just also also
There's a balance.
have
Yeah.
a balance.
You
balance,
have to
yeah.
make sure that it won't affect your relationships because actually taking care of plants helps improve relationships because it teaches you about compassion, caring for a living thing, and then responsibility and the duties you have to take care of it. And it's a good conversation piece too for
Yeah.
those who love plants.
It's also very calming. Like it gives you a calm demeanor and it makes you definitely it made me a lot more patient because you can't look at the plant and then say, hey, grow. You really have to wait and good things come to those who wait.
Yeah, I like that, no? And I was about to ask you kasi parents usually give their child pets to teach them about responsibility. But now I'm thinking that plants can be an alternative or an option too. What do you think? Is it
Yeah.
a good idea to give your child a plant to take care of to teach them about responsibility?
We get actually a lot of customers, parents, who who purchase the plant not for themselves but for their kids. So, yes, it's a good hobby to give a child who may want a dog, but then the parent is afraid to have to take care of a dog for maybe a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old. Mabibigla sila. But taking care of the plant it definitely would teach a lot of good values to the child. Also help build the relationship with the parent as they learn together and experience that plant journey together.
Diba they had those ano before? anong year ba yun? In the 90s, they had this, chia pet. It would be like a potato. You would
Yeah.
add water, and then all of a sudden, these chia plants would.
Chia seed.
I think I think it really starts with that. Eh? Like
Yeah.
you take care of a plant, or in school you take care of like a toge or something. Di
Okay.
ba?
Yeah.
Yung mga tinuturo sa school. So I think to be able to teach responsibility and to care for something that it's such a hopeless thing, like uh, it it it
It depends.
it adds something to a child's character. It adds compassion, it adds patience, and also it gives them something to do.
Yeah, I would agree. And yeah, I remember having yung I don't know, Mr. Potato Head when I was a
Mr.
kid.
Pati,
Mr.
yeah, yeah,
Potato,
yeah.
Oo.
yes.
Tutubuan ng buhok, 'di ba? So I remember I had fun taking care of that. So let's go to Happy Plan ko. You running the business, and of course there's always a lot of struggles and challenges when you're starting a business. And I hope you can share with us one or two stories that you had wherein you experienced na talagang quite a challenge in your business, and how were you able to overcome it?
Hmm.
Dami.
Okay. The
Oh.
challenges. Um, I would say one of the challenges was hmm challenges because it's fun. It's fun. It was a hobby, and then it became a passion, and then it became a business. I would say the most challenging things um, of being in a plant business is, of course, the eventually the you'll have the demand and the load and of inquiries, and at the same time, the moment your inequality increases, you want things to be excellent all the time. So I would say the challenge is to be able to strike the balance between uh, the cost, excellence, profit, and of course your the work life integration. The challenge is also probably having a store. Having a store was very challenging for me because I'm not an early riser, and we have a stall sa
Yep.
Salcedo Market.
Yeah.
That's every Sunday. Sorry,
Every Saturday.
every Saturday in the
So
morning.
you have to wake up at 5 a.m.
Uh-huh.
I have to prepare, make sure quality control
Yeah.
first before I load them into our vehicle. And then setting up at the Salcedo Market. And sometimes there would be customers and it's not open time yet.
Mhm.
And I'm still setting up. And so they're asking me questions now, and I'm like trying to stay composed because I'm not yet finished setting up.
Yeah.
But that's a challenge for Victor naman. They're
Yeah.
waking up early. But for me, I'd like to share some stories with some customers. Real life challenges that really happened during the process of a transaction. One customer received the plant and said it didn't look like the one on Instagram.
Mhm.
But I specified to her uh, before the purchase was done was that this one is the actual plant. I sent her a picture, the one in the garden. I said that one's been sold, the one on Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is the one that I'm potting for you. And she gave a thumbs up, like
Yeah,
that's
parang
good,
catalog. Yeah.
that's good. So, but then by the time that it was delivered, she called me and she said it doesn't look like it.
Mhm.
And then I said, I'm sorry. I apologize. It didn't meet your standard. So what I did is I gave her a refund and I got the plant back. That was really shocking for me because although I explained everything already, you'll still get those kind of inquiries and transactions from time to time. Sometimes they really want exactly what they saw, and then sometimes they're so excited they misread. They don't read the whole thread, and that's what happens. So she actually said, I didn't read the whole thread. I
Mhm.
I didn't understand that part. So we got along naman. There was no there the tension was relieved. It was just a misunderstanding and a misread thread. So another challenge we had was, ooh, you know, we have we do this on the side as a passion project, this small business, but it's grown, and sometimes you think, should we do this full time? Should we let go of all the other priorities or businesses or career paths we have? And and our answer would always be, eh, let's just keep it as a passion.
Yes, keep it as a passion.
Not think of the profit, not thinking of, oh, let's start making this and let's get the big global companies and let's take that retail company and pitch to them. We want to keep it at the growth, the pace, just steady enough to have enough time to be with family, to be together, to enjoy life, to enjoy the plans, and not stress about it. So
Yeah,
that's
for
one of
now,
the challenges.
sabi ko nga, are we going to put up our website na
No.
so that you can sell when you can sell when
While you're sleeping?
yeah, essentially while you're sleeping. And sabi niya, are you sure you want to do that?
I
That's
don't
gonna.
want to wake up and see all these orders.
I mean, if you think of it that way, or you see it as, oh, look at all the people who you can share your knowledge, your product with, and apart from the plans and the business, we also want this to be a vehicle in order to share about the goodness of because Stephanie and I are Christian, so like we wanted to share um we wanted to share about Jesus, our key verse sa Happy Plant Co. It's there's a profile yung sa First Corinthians 3:7, kasi no matter what we do, if we do everything that we can to keep the plant alive, if we do everything to make sure that it gets the right nutrients and all that stuff, it's not up to us whether mamamatay yung plant or or
Tutubo siya ng bagong dahon.
or it'll flourish.
Yeah.
It's really up to him who's 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 responsible for the growth. So we wanted to share that aspect, that these are such beautiful things, but ultimately it's able to point to um, our creator.
Yes, it's a really good reminder. Our company verse, our Bible verse, because it's really humbling to know that no matter how much you know about plant care and species and how to propagate, how to really make them grow, it's not gonna flourish if Christ isn't in the center of it. And our vision is not to make more money and more grow more plants, but it is to share that knowledge of the benefits that these plants have. God created these plants for a purpose. One is actually to give hope because it's used as horticultural therapy. Even during World War, um, in 1940s and the 1950s, they used this as part of the veterans therapy to overcome depression. Even now, they use it for people with dementia, people who are undergoing anxiety and maybe bipolar disorder. It's really they have a purpose, not just for cleaning our air, but it physiologically, emotionally, mentally. There's so many studies done, and actually I get so excited talking about it with the customers.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get carried away, and then Victor's like, tama na yan, time to eat. And I'm like, but I'm sharing to her. She's learning and she's excited. She has so many questions. It just last 5 minutes. So yeah, that's what keeps us actually going. It's the people who we make happy with the plants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially, yeah, yung mga iba, they're like, we want to send a plant to someone in the hospital.
Yes.
We want to send a plant for Mother's Day. We want to send a plant to her Lola. It's these things. It's not just the product. The product is is the thing that we produce. But then I think we're able to. Um, I feel like our plants are able to bridge these disconnections that happen, especially with the normal day to day lives. It's something physical. It's something that you can you can grow with. And I think I remember we started Happy Plant from from fruition to up until now. We've also grown with all of the partners. Diba? Yung mga ibang partners, they were small lang, and then they also grew with us, and we wanted to keep it local. And apart from the partners and apart from that, we also try to make sure that everything is really locally produced, and at the same time we're able to give back a little something. Like we were able to work with um, a weaving initiative sa Echagua Isabela, which was helping out the wives of the farmers. It was a small thing, and it was just a small thing for us. And we didn't really try to promote it so much because, diba, you shouldn't let your left hand know what you don't know what your right hand is doing. But we did that, just to help out, and they were really happy, and I'm really looking forward to more of those initiatives because um, the more you give, the more you get back. And I'm not saying like the more income you get back or the more blessings, but
The fulfillment and
it's
the
more fulfilling.
satisfaction of helping craftsmen, potters,
Yeah.
weavers.
And they're so good. They're so good. It's just, syempre, ay yung mga ibang gawa nila, it's not uso now. So you just have to tweak a little bit, and then to make it more feasible for our current market.
Yeah. I'm very happy to to learn na talagang this is really a passion project. And if I may share, kasi I tried to do some research about Happy Plant ko kasi nga we're going to do this interview. And the best place to learn about the business was really on Instagram. And reading through the captions of the photos, I could not just appreciate the plant, but I was also learning a lot of things through the captions. And I thought to myself na, these people are really passionate about these things. And as you mentioned earlier, you're not really in a hurry to grow this. And I also have friends who one of them whose passion is really into baking, and it was really something she loved, even if nakikita ko siya mahirap yung ginagawa niya, but she doesn't seem to feel it kasi nga mahal niya yung ginagawa niya. And eventually, of course, she needed some extra income because of recent months, what's been happening. And when she started to really consider the business side of yung pagbe-bake niya,
Mm.
ah, ang nakatulong talaga sa kanya is learning how to sell online, taking good pictures ng pagkain niya. So in short, taking advantage of technology when it comes to growing a business, especially during this time. And in the case of Happy Planco, what does technology do, or how what is the role of technology in your business? How is it helping you to grow it, or at least to be able to maintain that level of customer service and quality that you want to impart to your clients?
Number one, um, I'm a blogger, and so that also entails that I'm a photographer. So I take a lot of the photos. I make sure that we get the right angles of the plants, and I we have so many photos of our plants, and you really have to be organized. I think starting Happy Plant helped me become more organized because with the number of photos, images, videos, which you have to produce because you're selling online. Yun nga, the nice thing about online, you lose the limitations of being a brick and mortar. All of a sudden, somebody could be could be scrolling through your feed could be looking at your store at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning. So you remove that limit. But I would say technology has helped us. Number one, you have to have a good you have to have a good computer. You have to have a good laptop to make sure that your sheets. You have to make sure the other orders are in order, and of course your photos are in a database that anytime someone asks for a quotation or a
Yeah, PO.
yeah or a PO or for example like they're asking for a proposal, like you made a lot of proposals for different companies.
It's
You
all
might
in folders and organized in my laptop, like
yeah.
properly. It's easy to find.
And the photos that I use are like what, 24 megapixels. So you can't use a normal computer. Eventually, it'll start to bog down. You have to use something that is quick, something that is. I wouldn't say the cutting edge. Okay, maybe cutting edge, but you have to make sure that it's something that won't slow down your process because a small that small delay it starts to multiply exponentially, and that could cost you I don't know how much. But go ahead, you were saying something.
Oh, how technology helped. Great pictures, and like he said, it's big files. And at one time, like usually we would do photo shoots once or twice a week, and per photo shoot we'll have about 200 to 300 pictures,
Yeah.
and then we'll screen through them together on our laptop, and then we narrow down the choices for what we're going to use as material for the future or for for this month. And it's really a necessity
Yeah.
for our business, because you can't do that on your cell phone alone. No, although I know some businesses, startups, they start just with a phone, and actually that's true. That's how I was doing it, how Victor was doing it in the beginning.
Yeah.
But then when the business started to grow, you really got to have a reliable device that can store this amount of files, this amount of information,
Yeah.
and organize it for you in a way that will make your process flow really smooth.
Yeah, you need the color accuracy. You need the right video card. You need because eventually I think I see us, especially with the advent of um, um, after LTE. Now you have um, the networks upgrading almost everything to 5G. A lot of people will be start consuming things through video. So who knows? Maybe Happy Plant will be producing videos na rin. So I've been increasing the video production, and it's heavy. It's heavy if you don't have the right computer. So you have to make sure that use the right you use the right laptop, um, use the right desktop for your tasks, or else when you're inspired when when you're already going through the motions, if there's a delay that can stop that idea in its tracks. So you have to act fast, and you have to make sure that even if it's not particularly 100%, you have to release it or someone else will.
Yeah.
So kaya minsan, di ba, you say like, oh, are we going to release this plant? Okay, let's release it to the customers, and maybe they can grow with it.
Actually, now with the pandemic, so we do plant talks and interviews like this. So we can't use just our phone anymore.
Yeah.
We really need to have something that can help us get connected, and there won't be any delays.
Yeah.
It's really it would be my nightmare if I was asked to do a plant talk at 2 o'clock and I'm not in. Why am I not able to join in? And I it would be just horrors to have any technical problems like that. But we really need these type of gadgets and devices to help us now do these plant talks and interviews. Even for a TV show we did 2 weeks ago, we had to set it up, all of these gadgets, and we wouldn't be able to do these kinds of projects without the use of the help of these devices.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the moment you start the website and you start really being full time, and then you'll start doing SEOs, and then basta it really it's one on top of the other. Of course, you'll have to grow your team, and I think si ano nga si si Dell Technologies is a really good partner in what we're doing and what we we hope to do in the future.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I agree na um, from photos, we're moving towards videos. And actually, quite recently, people are also starting to live stream. So
Yes.
yun, that's more demanding when it comes to the specs of the laptop or computer that you are using. No? And it's really important, especially for small businesses, to invest on the right gadget or the right device in the first place, kasi you don't want your momentum to be disrupted while you're doing your
Mhm.
business. So
Yeah.
I totally relate to what you just shared.
Yeah.
And I guess at this point, what I'm curious about is, of course, you're running the business together as a couple, and I'm very sure there are also other couples out there who are thinking of starting their own business. So, number one, I would like to ask, is it really a good idea to start a business with your spouse? And any tips that you can give to couples out there who would like to start a business? Because I'm asking this because I'm very sure there will be some disagreements on the business. Baka mamaya it will affect yung personal life nyo na. Uh,
Mhm.
but do you have a distinction between, okay, we're here, we're talking as business partners, and then pag uwi sa bahay, we're husband and wife? Is there a rule that you set na to be able to work and live harmoniously? So, yun. So any advice for people who would like to for couples who also would like to go into business together?
Okay, advice for the couples who want to go into business together. Apart from the personal aspect, and of course to make sure that you're able to set the boundaries and make sure you play up to your strengths, and then you can start growing into other stuff like this Steph. I know that I'm the one in charge of the photos. But then ngayon, gumagaling na rin siya. So, ako, okay, so I think I'm going to start to focus more on the ordering side, and then sa R&D na rin, and to produce the next things that we're going to offer. But I would say advice for those hoping to start a business. Number one is to register your name. You make sure you have all the paperwork and permits, so that you start on the right foot, and to make sure that you're a responsible you're a responsible a plant company. You make sure that you have to pay the proper taxes. You also have to get a good accountant, and um, have a vision for you guys, because when you're all super caught up now with the motions, it can be very tiring. The patients can grow thin, can wear thin also. So you have to go to your business. You have to go to your vision, because you'll be looking to that. And our vision was to make to make to make people happy. If we're not making each other happy, then parang medyo we're veering away from that vision, to produce excellent results for your customer, and not to chase the profit, because the money will come. And the money can easily go away. But if you have a certain standard, a certain product, um, if you're a constant in in a very a very fluid a very fluid the marketplace out there, it keeps changing. The trends keep changing. But if you're a constant, then it'll be a good way to attract more of the business, because if you're able to find your niche, and if you're able to grow that niche with the customers, then you're in very good company.
So,
Advice.
advice. It worked for us because we did it. Um, we made a business out of something we both enjoy doing. So first and foremost is really enjoy this business, or and also know what are your goals with it, your targets, and delegate whether that's his role or that's my role, or okay, you do that first and I'll take care of this. And then we have to schedule, because then if you're a couple and he wants to go take me out or something, and then I'm like, I have this big project, I want to take it, it's a global company and I think it's gonna really help us, you know um, put our brand out there. And then he's like, but what's more important? Family will always be more important. Okay, so our relationship. So we don't go and chase it if it's gonna affect some part of our relationship or our relational plans. And then, of course, to do the business honestly, because if you start on the wrong foot, God's not gonna bless it. We have Christ in it. We pray about decisions we make. We make sure that everything is done
By the book.
honestly. Yeah. Yes. Yes. We're not gonna, like, for example, you growing plants responsibly without the pesticides and the fertilizers, and putting lots of osmocot in it before I release it to the customer to make sure there's going to be a new leaf definitely after 1 week kasi may osmocot yan. That's being a dishonest entrepreneur. It's not dishonest gain is always going to end in a bad way. And it's not just for you, but you're affecting a lot of other people. You're putting carcinogens in the products that you're releasing. So do it honestly. Prioritize the relationship, not with the customers, but with each other. Really, first and foremost, it's make sure that it will not affect our relationship. So, at night, like you said, it's online, 2 a.m., baka may mag-message.
How much po?
HM. And then the pictures. I won't touch it. No, I'll leave it for the morning na.
Yeah. And usually sa Sundays, talaga, it's sarado yung tindahan.
Yeah.
Save for the orders which are already ongoing. But new sales on Sundays are a no-no, because you have to rest also. You think you can keep going, you can keep chugging along, but we're human. We have a limit also. So make sure you strike the balance. And the other advice, if you're thinking about the business, and if you're thinking, oh, it might fail, just 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 do it. Just do it. You won't know until you try. It's cheaper to invest in a business idea than it is to buy a new cell phone. So, like, I would say, spend on something which is um, essential, and spend on something which will may be able to grow your money. So, yeah, if you do that, then I think you guys will work as a couple.
Yeah, and just really the roles. The roles are important. Yeah. Photographer.
Yeah,
Sometimes
but
I ask him, can I borrow your camera?
but nowadays, like ito yung sa live stream and everything, we're all like you Fitz. I see a condenser microphone there. I mean, like, I'm sure I'm sure you also know a thing or two about audio. It has helped us to grow, and um, I'm really excited to what's next um, in our new normal. And I'm happy that we have something that we can grow together.
Yeah. No, grabe. Thank you for sharing all of those. And siguro, what can we expect from Happy Plant ko for the coming months and coming years? Ano bang uh, plano ninyo for the upcoming months? And especially that we have the new normal and the
Okay.
surge of plantitos and plantitas out there. Ano
Yeah.
ba yung what can we expect from Happy Plant ko?
Um, what can we expect from Happy Plant Co? Please expect more rare, sought after plants. Well, yan yung ano dream ko. Yan yung ano goal ko. More instructional things that we can produce to help you take care of your plants via video. So I'm putting it out there now. So what else?
So yes, we'll be producing more videos for people so that they can not only you know purchase, but they can also learn about different types of plants in our catalog and how to care for it. Some tips and tricks that we have, and we're more than willing to share with others based on our experiences in our garden and here in our home. And then also, of course, products. So we do have watering cans, and we'll have more new designs of pots and baskets and plant stands. And so we're also thinking about happy plant merchandise.
Yeah.
So this may come, but not so soon.
Yeah.
We don't want to go too fast,
Yeah.
like I said, but that's in for the future. Yeah.
And for the future, I think uh, also expect to streamline the customer experience so that naisip mo pa lang andyan na yung plant mo. But uh,
Wow.
to no, but to make um, the process quicker, and to make sure that you also learn through that process. So I know it's a big undertaking. I know to have a website, but it's very much needed, and to make sure you use the right platform, because you can't be everywhere. You're in this online site, and then you're you're on Shopify, and then you're on this place. You can't be too spread out. We want to make sure that um, happy plants happy plants ano the brand image is still intact. We still want to be your friendly neighborhood plant store.
Friendly neighborhood store. Well, yes, I still want to keep that um, forever.
Yeah.
Actually, that personal touch because they're talking to us um, personally. So we really help them make it customized to
Mhm.
their needs and their questions.
Yeah.
We're just
Yeah, minsan nagtatalo pa kami. Like,
huh?
for example, oh, how much do I water this plant? And I say this much, and then she says that much. We still have our differences, but we want to make sure that the customer is speaking to the owners, is really getting the information firsthand from those who know, and sometimes I know more.
Yay!
Yeah, thank you for that. And usually, when I do interviews like this, I like to end with a little bit of role playing. But what I prepared is for Victor kasi. So
Okay,
I'd
okay.
like to ask, no. So pretend that I'm your college old classmate back in high school, and we stumbled upon each other. And then
Mhm.
sabi ko sa'yo, bro, your life seems to be all together now. You have a loving wife, you have a successful business, and I'm sure you'll achieve more things in the future. Bro, tulungan mo naman ako. What's the secret? What's the key to your happy life now? Can you share?
Hmm. Key to a happy life. I would say, bro. I would say thing, the number one thing about happiness and to lead a happy life is to give more than you more than you take. Like you try to you try to do good, and you also try to remember why you were here in the first place. It'll always come back to that. Like I wish I could give more. I wish I could give more practical advice, but um, your your actions will always begin with your identity. If you know who you are, if you know what you're doing, then your actions will be able to follow suit. Like, for example, you Fitz, you're the host. Of course, you're gonna be the one in charge of this talk. But like me, if I'm if if I consider myself to be a good husband, then if your identity ko is a good husband, then a good husband should be able to do these things. Should do these things. The moment you set your parameters, like if you set the parameters in your life, in your business, in your faith, in your relationships, you're working with you're working with you're working with a sphere which you won't try to deviate from, because it will discount things from you, and ultimately your happiness. So
Right.
I would say, bro, find what makes you happy, find what makes you complete, and always it should be in line with with God.
Alright. Nako, maraming salamat. I guess that's all the questions that I wanted to ask this afternoon. And nako, thank you, Victor. Thank you, Steph, for joining us. It was a pleasant surprise to also hear from you. Siguro to end, can you invite our listeners to check out Happy Plan Ko and also share with us ano ba yung mga social media accounts nyo and how do they contact you if they want to learn more? Yan.
Okay. All right.
So, Happy Plant Co. is on Instagram at Happy Plant Co. And you can also find us on Facebook with the same account at Happy Plant Co.
Yeah. Currently, our Salcedo market, stand is not there because of our ongoing COVID pandemic. But we really hope to be there soon. But in the meantime, of course, you can contact Happy Plant Co. And you can also catch me on Instagram at Victor Basa. So, yeah, I'm really excited to chat with you guys, and to be able to share about this new plant trend, which some of you are growing with. And like, I really believe that if you start small, if you start right, um, the and if you commit your plans to the Lord, He will prosper you. So um, I would say thank you for having us, and we're looking forward um, to more of these guestings and appearances. And thank you very much to Dell Technologies. It's like a it's like an affirmation that, hey, we're doing pretty good. I think we're doing the right thing. So thank you very much, Fitz, and hope to see you guys on our channels.
All right. So thank you very much, Victor and Steph. And hopefully we'll be able to see each other in real life, not just virtual.
Yeah, I look
And
forward to that.
thank you very much for those who watch the video and for those who listen to the episode. So I hope you enjoyed this series that was brought to you by Dell Technologies, the Small Business Podcast. Pursue your passion podcast series. And I guess that's it. Goodbye and take care and stay safe.
See you.
Bye. Thank you.